Hey everybody! So a few weeks ago I said I was going to be doing a different kind of video style along with the guides, and this is going to be the first of that video style, I guess. So, top 5 weapons or characters of each element. This is, okay, number 1, this is an opinion. You cannot prove an opinion right, you cannot prove an opinion wrong. There are no right or wrong opinions. You can disagree with comments, but you can't say, oh no, you're wrong, because opinions aren't wrong. They also aren't right, so you can't choose someone and say, oh, well, yeah, this guy said blank was better than blank, but no, it's opinion. So if he does better than blank, then that's him. So that's just opinion. Number 2, this is going to be applied to the Wii U version only, but, well, this entire series, but I feel like this video, it should mostly relate to Legends pretty well, so I don't see any huge problems with that. Because, I mean, it's pretty much the same for, like, best of each element. If there was, like, a tier list, then it would be a bit different, but for the most part, it should be the same for this part. So, let's just start off with Fire. So, the best character for Fire element is Volga. I mean, this shouldn't be much of a surprise at all. Volga is ridiculous. He can basically blow up entire keeps. For like his amazing range. He also is very powerful. He has an infinite, he can shred through weak point gauges like they're absolutely no problem at all on standard enemies and giant bosses. Really, his only flaw is that his weak point smashes against character enemies and giant bosses is a bit weak, but even then, he's still contender for the best character in the game, and he's by far the best Fire character in the game. No one else really comes close, honestly. Like, there's Linkle, but not really. So, the next character, or the next element should be Lightning. So this one may be a bit controversial, but I feel like Link with the spinner is actually the best lightning weapon. Probably the other 2 contenders for best lightning weapon in the game are Link with the gauntlets and then Sheik with her harp. But why I think the spinner tops those is because, okay, for Sheik and her harp, even though she accomplishes so much, I feel like she does lack just a little bit in area control and keep clearing, and also her damage is pretty low, which is kinda lame. And then for the gauntlets, even though the gauntlets are really good and they are better than the spinner at juggling enemies, actually Sheik is too, it's just pretty lacking against giant bosses in general, and also its keep clearing isn't as great as the spinner, I feel. So, yeah, the spinner, you can pretty much use it on any mission, any situation. It'll do well. It just does not care about giant boss weak point gauges. It goes through those so quickly. It also has really decent crowd control, really strange but good juggles with deploying the other spinner and doing stuff like combo 3 or combo 2 into it, or actually even combo 4. It also has some pretty powerful attacks. It's just a really, really decent weapon, I feel. So, this may be one of the more controversial ones. This is the best one. So, the next weapon up, or element up, is Water, which is King Daphnis. So, Water is a weird element because pretty much all other 4 weapons in this video are at least contenders for best weapon in the game. I'm saying that very loosely, but Water is always just really lacking, which is kind of a shame because, I mean, it's a useful element, but I mean, have Water have all the hate. But King Daphnis is the only one that I feel like is an actual solid character because he basically has an infinite if he has hasty attacks, and keep clearing is alright, but it's definitely passing. Weak point gauges, he can shred through pretty much any weak point gauge on giant bosses, regular enemies. His damage output is a bit low, but that's like not that much of a problem. He's just also just really fast. I mean, he has his strong attack automatically makes him have hasty attacks, which is kind of a big deal because hasty attacks is so centralized in this game. So him just having that automatically, well, I'm playing right now and he has hasty attacks on him, but he also with the strong attack buff, it's just ridiculously fast how this exists. No. Anyways, So, I don't want to say he's like the least terrible water weapon because he is a decent character. It's just water is so lacking with every character, which is really a shame. Anyways, next one up is light, and it shouldn't be much of a surprise. Link with the Master Sword. Did this actually surprise anyone? I mean, okay, the sword beams at full health, that is a bit of a hindrance just because you have to be at full health. But even then, they're just amazing at spacing out enemies. And it's also naturally the strongest weapon in the game. It has really great juggles. It can go through giant boss weak point gauges amazingly fast. Its only flaw is that since it can't have any other skills, you can't have hasty attacks and no healing or anything like that on it, which is really its only flaw. And also that means it's also naturally slower than a few other weapons just because it doesn't have hasty attacks. But that's not really a problem because it's still just so dominating. I'd say also probably another problem is that its special attack is a bit lacking compared to others, but even then, it's still an amazing weapon. So next element up is Dark, which I feel like will be a bit more interesting. Hey look, it isn't Young Link, it's actually Ganondorf with the Great Blades. So Dark is actually a really amazing element because pretty much every character in Darkness is really decent, except for maybe Midna and Zelda with the Dominion Rod. Those are probably the only two that are pretty lacking. And everything else is really decent, and also it has the most weapons in the game, so it makes it kind of hard to choose the best one. I'm gonna go with Ganondorf with the Great Blades just because, well, I mean, he's one of the strongest characters in the game. With hasty attacks, his speed is just ridiculous. He has really long range with his combo 6. He goes through giant bosses pretty fast. He doesn't, pretty much his only flaw is that he's a bit slow, but like even then you can just fix that with hasty attacks. And there, he's one of the best characters in the game instantly. And also his strong attack, it was kind of lame before, but they buffed it so that it has invincibility now. That was like a year ago though, but still, that's the thing. So yeah, why I wouldn't say Young Link is because Young Link kind of struggles with like damage giant bosses a bit more if he doesn't have Focus Spirit. And also, maybe not range, but yeah, I mean like Sia, Tweely, Midna, Wizrose, and Girahim. All of those are also really great characters as well, which is why Dark's actually a pretty hard element to choose the best for. Okay, well, it wasn't really hard, but they're all really good, that's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, even though I'm saying he's the best one, a lot of other characters that are Dark are pretty much right behind him, because Dark's just an amazing element in general. But, okay, Ganondorf with the Great Blades, he's the best one.